Welcome to the Expert Series, brought to you by the Lupus Foundation of America. Our health education team is here to bring you experts in lupus to discuss topics to help you live better. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. My name is Alicia, and I'll be your host. 2020 was truly an unprecedented year, and as we approach its end, we asked both experts in the field, as well as people with lupus, to provide advice as we move on to 2021. Here's what they have to say.
Hello, I'm Tony Grimes, a 13-year lupus warrior from Phoenix. 2020 was supposed to be a year of vision, but it has been a year of growth because of trials, tribulations, and challenges. That growth has made me a stronger lupus warrior today. As the years of my lupus journey pass, I always take a moment to reflect on my medical challenges of that year. They have not always been easy or clear-cut, but I have realized that lupus has made me a stronger, more resilient, and grateful person over these last 13 years. I will never be that pre-lupus Tony, but I can make the most of what I still have. As a lupus warrior, we have little control over this crazy disease, but what I can control are my actions, thoughts, and desires. In 2021, I will continue to feed myself spiritually, physically, and mentally. Make 2021 a year of you. Take up a new hobby. Move daily, whether that be a walk in the park or some chair yoga. Feed your soul by journaling or reading a great book. These are things that lupus can't take from us. When I think of my lupus journey with hospitalizations from 3 days to 6 months, years of cognitive and physical therapies, it reminds me of Thich Nhat Hanh's book, No Mud, No Lotus, The Art of Transforming Suffering. My journey was tough and there were dark moments, but I'm continually transforming and blooming into a lotus flower. Like a lotus flower, we too have the ability to rise from the mud, to bloom out of darkness, and to radiate in the world. Our mud is our lupus. Our darkness are our flares. These two empower us to grow, to be resilient, to become stronger. Bloom into that beautiful lotus flower in 2021.
Hi, everyone. My name is America Paredes, and I am the Associate Vice President for Partnerships and Community Outreach at Mental Health America. And, when you think about this last year, I think a lot of attention has been paid to the physical aspects of yourself, right? You're paying attention to what's happening in your body, but a lot of people may be overlooking how our emotions are impacted as well by everything that just has occurred this year. So when you think about 2021, I would tell people to not forget to think about their emotions, give themselves time to really process what they're feeling, find support when you need it, and not be ashamed to ask for help. And ultimately know that whatever you're living with, dealing with, feeling is so normal, and it happens to all of us. So if you need help, Mental Health America has resources at mhanational.org. And I know that the Lupus Foundation also has really helpful resources to kind of help everyone navigate all this emotional and physical pain that we all deal with. So thank you to the Lupus Foundation, but also, give yourself some grace and remember that 2021 is a whole new year, and each day is something that you can kind of think about and take on differently. So go out there and keep fighting in the open, as we like to say on MHA.
Hi, my name is Angel Williams-Derricott, and I was diagnosed with lupus over 20 years ago at the age of 12 years old. I will say lupus awareness this year has looked so different as we are in a pandemic and we have gone from in-person events to virtual events. This has been a crazy year altogether with social injustices and inequalities and presidential election. It has been one roller coaster of a year. But I will say to you, be encouraged. We are that much closer to a cure. We have been working hard. We have been spreading awareness. We have been talking about it. Lupus is being heard all around the world. So I will say, be encouraged that we are getting closer and closer and closer to a cure. We're one more drug closer to a cure. It is amazing, and we will get there. I will say, don't let anything put you down. Keep smiling. Keep going. Look for your rainbow. Your rainbow is that thing that is pushing you through your day. It could be that tomorrow is going to be a better day than yesterday, and that should get you through. Find your rainbow, push through, and keep going. I encourage you today to be a better you today, tomorrow, and look forward to 2021. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brad Roven, and I'm the director of the Division of Nephrology at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. I specialize in taking care of patients with autoimmune kidney diseases, and in particular, patients with lupus nephritis. This focus extends to my clinical and laboratory-based research, and I have been involved in many clinical trials testing novel therapeutics for the treatment of lupus nephritis. In my laboratory, I look for biomarkers to understand how the kidney is doing in real time without the need for serial kidney biopsies. 2020 has been a memorable year for a lot of the wrong reasons. However, in 2020, we completed several clinical trials in lupus nephritis and published the results of the first ever successful Phase 3 trial. We anticipate the results of more successful lupus nephritis trials will be published in 2021. So, for patients with lupus nephritis, 2020 has been an unprecedented year in finding evidence to support new drugs for disease management. As we roll into 2021, with the hope that many of the divisive issues of 2020 will start to be addressed in a sensible, transparent, and open way, I am encouraged how science has prevailed even in bleak times. I think the lupus community will begin to really explore new ways of managing patients with lupus nephritis, as some of these new therapies will hopefully be approved. I think these efforts will have major beneficial impact on the lives and well-being of patients with lupus and kidney disease. Although we may not have yet a cure for lupus, we are making significant strides in treatment that is more effective and with fewer side effects. Be safe and healthy this year, and know that all of us engaged in lupus research will push forward no matter what obstacles are put in our way. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Angela. First and foremost, I have always had a pretty decent outlook on chronic illness and being bombarded with pretty tough situations like being diagnosed with lupus. I got diagnosed kind of young. One thing that I've always kept in mind and that my mom has always emphasized is to simply keep your spirits up. Focus on something other than, say, your lupus or the pandemic and what other people are doing. Focus on yourself. Do something to better yourself during this time. I've been doing a lot of college work. I've been working pretty hard with my job. I work from home. Just have something that you focus on other than the statistics that are just playing over and over again on the news and on the radio. If you need, take a break from social media, take a break from Facebook, take a break from watching the news. Turn on something lighthearted so that you can forget about what's going on outside, but do stay safe and stay aware. Just make sure that it's not consuming you and causing degradation in your mental health. And in regards to mental health, make sure that you continue to keep in touch with family and friends, constantly check in with them, check in with yourself. I use a few wellness-based apps that help me manage my mental health. I also recommend, if it's something that you can't keep up with on your own, definitely see a specialist. If you need help, that's okay. It's okay to not be okay. This pandemic is really taxing on even those who are able-bodied, let alone those of us with chronic illnesses such as lupus. For 2021, do what's good for you, not what your friends want to do. Don't go out if you don't feel okay going out. And keep in mind, those that care about you and that love you and respect you will respect those boundaries that you have set for yourself. Anyone that doesn't care about those boundaries, and anyone that does not respect the fact that, hey, you don't feel comfortable going out to restaurants or bars or whatever during this time, keep in mind that you don't need to keep them in your life. If you are having trouble with school, this goes out to all of my pediatric patients out there. If you are having trouble with school right now, during this pandemic, maybe you're having a hard time focusing, maybe online school is a little bit tougher, speak to your doctors, speak to your guidance counselor, talk to your teachers, work out a plan with them so that you can do the best that you can do, and set realistic goals for yourself. If you're having a hard time, maybe get a calendar, space it out, set a reward for each time that you do something. Like, you have midterms, but then after midterms, order some ice cream and junk food and binge watch your favorite show. There are still ways to have fun despite this pandemic, and despite those of us on immunosuppressive medications and dealing with lupus. Even though we're on lockdown, doesn't mean that you still can't have fun, but from the home. Keep in mind that you could do a lot from home, and the world is currently adapting to become a place where we can work from home, we can study online, and just remember, you have to think of yourself and your health first. Take care of yourself before you take care of others. Remember that your body needs to be taken care of as best as you can. What I've learned from having lupus, and this year 2020 especially, is that I can take care of myself mentally and physically from home. I can still work out. I can still see my friends over the internet. Like, we can still play video games. We could still send each other takeout and have presents show up to the door without someone else knowing that you're sending it out there. But I've also noticed that a lot of my able-bodied friends have asked me, hey, how do you cope? And my way of coping is just looking forward to something, like setting my mind to something and not focusing on the bad, but rather focusing on the good.
Next, we'll hear from Dr. Jane Salmon, who is a rheumatologist and director of the Lupus and APS Center of Excellence, and Colette Keene, research professor at the Hospital for Special Surgery.
It's been a dark and difficult year, but there's a clearing in the distance. Lupus has taught us a great deal about COVID, and COVID has taught us a great deal about lupus. The good news is that lupus patients do not seem to be at increased risk for COVID, nor do they seem to be at increased risk for more severe disease. Vaccines are coming, and I think we'll learn a lot about the immunology of vaccination to viruses, RNA vaccination, which is a totally new approach. The COVID epidemic has shone a light onto inequity and disparity, and I think that light won't go out. So COVID has caused us great pain, and like lupus, it's unpredictable. You don't know if and when you'll get it and how severely you can be affected. So the key here is to remain vigilant, remain careful, social distance, mask, hand hygiene, and everything else, and wait for the vaccine and wait till this passes. Knowledge forces change. Government leaders will look at diseases differently. We'll look at us differently. We'll look at women and women of color differently. We're in a different space, and I think we've made phenomenal progress in terms of biomedical research. We've never addressed a disease as quickly as we have COVID. So I'm optimistic that we're turning the corner, and I wish everyone a wonderful and healthy coming year, a year of optimism, and have the darkness be lifted.
Next, we'll hear from lupus warrior Chris Burton, who has been living with lupus since February 2012.
As we look forward to 2021, honestly, the main advice I would give everyone who's affected by lupus is to be kind to yourself and kind to others. I found myself, especially in the spring when the pandemic was starting, and everything was just compounding. You had the pandemic, you had all of the incidents of like police brutality and racial injustice and the protests and everything that was really coming to a fever pitch, and we hadn't even gotten to the election yet. There was a time where it just felt like it was all too much, and I was off my rhythm. Something that really has helped me live with lupus better is really almost having a monastic approach to how I do my days, right? So I get up in the morning, like on a great day. I'm getting up sometime between like 4 and 5:30. I'll read scripture. I will drink water. Probably use the bathroom to be fully disclosed. Go work out. In my home, I bought, after my last lupus flare, I went ahead and bought a rowing machine and just do 15 minutes. That's all I do, honestly. And it just really helps get the blood flowing and makes me feel good. It's a nice, moderate workout, so I'm not exhausting myself before the day, but I'm really, giving myself a pep. Like it's so much better than coffee could ever be for me. After that, you shower, you put on your clothes. But, with the pandemic and being home, it was like, okay, what am I going to wear? Like, I'm not like getting fresh necessarily. I'm putting on like a t-shirt, but really try to avoid just throwing the pajamas right back on, And so that sense of routine and discipline has really helped me keep my wits about me with everything else that's changing. It's like, okay, all this stuff seems unpredictable, but at least my own schedule, my discipline, my routine is predictable. I'm going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Make the same smoothie for breakfast every day, right? Just no need for variety in that sense, because you're trying to give yourself stability, because in a very unpredictable world, we know that causes stress, and we know that stress is not our friend, right? So it's really about making sure that we can control that which we can control and be flexible and adaptable enough to know that there are going to be things that are so beyond our ability to control. But as long as we have things that provide us that sense of stability, our disciplines, our rituals, our diet, our sleep, things of that nature, then we're really able to create a stronger base to be able to bend but not to break. So that's really the main thing that I want to encourage everyone who lives with lupus to do, is like create a strong foundation in your practices, right? Because if we have that inner peace, then we won't be so vulnerable to the stressors that we know are just not our friend and can make bad things so much worse. So drink your water, share gratitude for every single day, be kind to yourself, be kind to other people, and just really pace yourself. Tomorrow's another day. You can't get it all done today. Do what you can with what you can, but don't wear yourself out. All right? Peace.
As we close out this episode, I want to thank all of the experts as well as those who are affected by lupus who submitted their advice. We hope that you find it encouraging and uplifting, especially as we enter this new year. To learn more about living well with lupus, you can find additional resources on the National Resource Center on Lupus at lupus.org/resources. And to speak with a health educator, please go to lupus.org/healtheducator or call 1-800-558-0121. And finally, to connect with others with lupus from all around the world, I invite you to check out our online support community where you can talk with others, find emotional support, and discuss practical insights for coping with the daily challenges of lupus. You can find the community at lupus.org/lupusconnect. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.